Good evening, everybody. This big boy. As you probably know, I've shut my other YouTube channels down. The politics of social media just got a little too much, so I decided I'm trying to stay out of politics. I've got the ham radio channel that's doing good. I decided to start this one. Not going to be anything political, not going to be any conspiracies. Just going to talk about our heritage of hunting, shooting, sports, things like that, and kind of got my mind on this video from getting to hunt and shoot with my grandsons. Um, we need to make every effort to pass down our heritage of shooting, hunting, fishing, outdoors to our sons and kids and grandkids, so boys and girls both. Now, um, I raised two daughters. They didn't hunt. One of them was a 4-H shooter. She won a lot of shooting events. And the other one is shooting now after she got older, but they're not real big hunters. But my two oldest grandsons are, and I've had a lot of fun from the time they've been really 6, 7 years old. We started, me and my brother started them out with BB guns, and I let them shoot everything from single shot 22s. They've shot most of my handguns, deer rifles, and like to thank my son-in-law and daughter for allowing me to hunt with them. I was able to be with both of them when they shot their first buck. Um, they kind of, when they was little, hunting with them was mainly just keeping them still and keeping them paying halfway attention. The oldest one's starting to ask more questions about hunting and shooting. So, kind of why I want to thought about this is give a few tips on how to pass down this information to kids. To hopefully they'll understand it. There's some little pointers and things I've noticed here that I've tried to point out with my grandsons. First and foremost, I have told both of my grandsons under no certain terms the minute they compare anything to do with shooting a firearm to a dang video game, we got a problem. I will not tolerate that. I will not listen to that. We've got to teach these kids safe, ethical gun, responsible gun ownership. And you see behind me the gun safe. Um, I raised them two girls in a house that didn't even have a gun safe in. I had guns under the couch, bed, closet. When they got big enough to talk, I put every gun on the bed, picked them up, set them in the big middle of them. Had a talk with them, let them look at them, let them pick their own gun out. Took the curiosity out of the guns. Made them, told them anytime you want to see a gun, just ask a parent and we'll let you see it. But you don't touch them without us here. And I told them if you ever see a gun laying around the house, don't touch it. Come tell somebody. I tested them on that and they passed it. Never was worried about my kids. But when I got my first gun safe, when my kids got big enough to have kids come over, I ain't nothing better I thought of in a house of furniture was a big oak lighted gun cabinet with mirrors behind it showing all your deer rifles off. I used to think that was great, but we're past that now. Get a safe, secure your guns. Now, we talk about gun safety, and there's every kind of video you can even look at on gun safety, and people my age been hunting, grew up with guns all our life, and I know we pass on tips to to our grandkids and kids on gun safety. But things that I've just noticed here lately with my own grandsons and things I've pointed out to them. You know, luckily the area I get to hunt with them boys, we've got box stands, so I can get in the box stand with them. We can kind of whisper in low tones and hey, cat, and talk to them, tell them different things to watch for in the woods, things like that with just deer hunting tips. But as far as shooting and handling the firearm goes, you've got to teach them how to safely get in and out of a deer stand with a weapon, uh, transporting it on UTVs, ATVs, so on and so forth. Um, ain't nothing aggravates me worse, and I've had to fix several guns for people that used ATV, UTV mounted gun racks. I think that thing's the worst thing you do with optics on the gun. I always make my grandsons physically hold their gun in a UTV across their legs or something to cushion it, instead of laying it in there or having it on any kind of vehicle or mounted gun rack. I hate those things because if a continued use of them, you will have optics problems. Um, I've taught them when they get in the stand, it's okay to have the magazine of a weapon loaded, but not to have it chambered. They need to know how to safely unchamber and rechamber their magazine when they get the rifle from their magazine when they get up in the stand. Uh, Nothing else. When they shoot a deer, I've made both of mine. When I didn't even know one of them, I could see the deer laying in the woods. I made them go to where the deer fell, find the blood, and trail to the deer instead of just walking directly to a deer that's down. Because one of these days they're going to have to learn how to do that. We've got the greatest thing, the freedom we've still got going in this country to be able to do this, and we've got to ensure it's passed down safely, ethically, and responsibly to our grandkids and kids. Um, One thing, and I know a lot of us older guys, Cat, what are you doing? That's got older guns. It's something to think about. And I had to explain this to my grandson over the weekend with a gun I let him use of mine. I'll get to that in just a second. Two common deer rifles that there's a bazillion of still out there: the lever action Marlin 3030 and the Winchester 94 lever action 3030. Any of those guns made prior to somewhere in the late 80s are not going to have any type of manual safety on them. I think the Marlins now have a hammer block safety on them, crossbolt hammer block or something. And the only way to unload those guns is to jack around through every chamber of it to kick them out on the ground. They need to be taught safely how to do that. I let my first 30-30 go off on me several years ago. Luckily, my dad never noticed the holes in the barn. So, they need to watch that if you got an older gun. 'Cause a lot of us had guns given to us when we were kids or bought guns at younger ages. Another one, and this is one of the finest rifles I think ever been made, the 700 bolt action. This is an ADL, has a load through the top. This gun was made prior to '84. That's the only fault of these guns I don't like. This gun is unsafe. You can't open the bolt. You have to take the gun off safe to be able to open the bolt to unload it. I think starting in '84, Remington fixed that where they will open with the safety on. That's a fault I wish they'd fixed a long time before that, because I've always been very wary of unloading that rifle, keeping the muzzle in a safe direction. And that particular rifle, they've made millions of them, and Remington had a lawsuit over them. So if you got an old 700, make sure that they understand how to unload and load that right. Just get them in the woods. Get them away from video games. There's an old saying, this world needs more tackle box and less Xbox, and I firmly agree with that. If they ask questions, try to be patient with them, try to answer questions. Grandson killed a buck Sunday, and the deer come out. He didn't see him, I did. And that's when I found out he didn't know what a cedar bush was. I said, he's there behind that cedar bush. He said, Papa, what's a cedar bush? I said, the only thing is green out there in the woods, son. Look. And he finally seen it. Little things like showing them different trees. They don't have to become a wildlife botanist, but they need to know the basic trees that's out there. Teach them what to look for on a stand. Safe getting in and out of stands. There's a whole ton of things, especially if you use any kind of climbing or ladder stand. There's a lot of safety involved in them things you need to be aware of. But the main thing is promote conservation, ethical hunting, responsible gun safety, and get them out there and get them to doing this. Y'all leave me some comments for suggestions on the channel. These ain't gonna be as many as on the old channels was. I don't know how often I'm gonna do these. I may try to video some predator hunts later, but if y'all enjoy it. I appreciate you watching it. And got any comments or suggestions, please let me know. But get them kids out there, get them hunting, get them shooting, and teach them how to do it safely, correctly, and responsibly. It's Big Boy. Adios.